Welcome back, guys. I'm glad you're here. There has been a battle between parents and teachers for the past few years, basically boiling down to the fact that parents want to know what the heck teachers are teaching their kids. I don't know about you, but I think that's a pretty reasonable request. However, teachers feel otherwise. You have the example of Nicole Solis in Rhode Island, where the teachers union sued her because she asked for the curriculum they were teaching her kindergartner. You have countless examples. You have the Attorney General of the United States issuing a memo basically saying that parents are domestic terrorists for showing up at school board meetings demanding to know what their children are being taught. It's preposterous, and it's no different in this next clip.
So I'm Jay McDonald. I'm here to talk about diversity, inclusion, and equity. So we hear so much about diversity, inclusion, and equity, and how it's one of the main thrusts, main objectives of the school board and the school district. We don't often see specific examples of what diversity, inclusion, and equity looks like, though. So today I brought an excellent representation. This is like the archetype of diversity, inclusion, and equity material that it's one of the books that was just recently purchased for our libraries. It's in Romig and Bartlett. It's called Let's Talk About It by Erica Moen. So it's got one of the chapters in here is about sexting. And I'll just read.
The man said sexting. This is a book available at schools for children. Just making sure we're on the same page here. Sexting.
Some of the text here. So before you start sending your naughty masterpieces around the world, take some time to get friendly with photo editing software and apps.
Wait, what? Okay, so they're saying if you're gonna sext and send pictures, make sure you edit them. So let's catfish people. Holy smokes, they're teaching this to our kids. Our kids. I'm a parent. This bothers me. I hope it bothers you if you're a parent too. Let's keep it going.
Digital photos are permanent and impossible to retract once they're out there. So keep your recognizable features out of them before you share them. This is a book for kids.
Jeez.
Don't forget to crop out your face, hide your birthmarks and scars, and edit out your piercings and tattoos. And don't forget to tell your sweetie how hot they look.
Yeah, all these school kids need to edit out their tattoos. Jeez Louise.
Let them know you appreciate the little gift they've sent you.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes?
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you at this point. It sounds like you have a concern about a book. I'd be glad.
Ooh, so you see that? He only reads a little bit of this book, and the president of the school board is already uncomfortable, and he cuts him off.
To connect you to the superintendent and their team to go through the appropriate process.
I'd appreciate if you don't interrupt my time.
Ooh.
Mr. McDonald, I've asked you to defer to the superintendent and their team if you have a concern about it.
So this guy has said nothing profane, incendiary. He hasn't violated any rules. He's literally reading from a book that they offer to the children in this school district, and it makes this guy on the board, the president of the school board, mind you, uncomfortable. That tells you a lot.
About a book, we have a procedure and a process and a team ready to assist you if you'd like.
Mr. President, I don't think he's violated any rules. I mean, he hasn't used pornography. I mean, he hasn't.
Good for you.
Shown any pornography. He hasn't.
Good for you. Stand up.
Bad words. Offensive words.
Mr. Donnelly, you can overrule the ruling of the chair if you'd like. It's my determination that we should ask Mr. McDonald to go through the appropriate process.
Mr. McDonald, we're not comfortable with the fact that you're reading material that we provide to your children because it makes us uncomfortable, because it advocates for sexually explicit behavior. And us as adults, we don't feel great about that, but we're going to let your kids read it.
Well, I understand suggesting that to him, and I think that's fine, but I don't think he's said anything that would cause us to cut off his testimony at this point.
I think we have a past precedent in this boardroom which would support my ruling. You're welcome, and I support your right to appeal the ruling of the chair, sir.
Well, yeah, I would appeal the ruling of the chair based on that. I haven't heard anything.
I'll probably catch some heat for this, but have you guys noticed that a lot of these people who push this stuff on our kids, a lot of these people who have an issue with parents speaking up, a lot of these people who we're fighting against for poisoning the minds of our youth look a lot like the kids who didn't play sports in school, got maybe picked on, were social outcasts. Does any of this feel like revenge to you guys? I don't know. Just a thought, just throwing it out there.
Thing that specifically violated our current rules for public testimony.
Understood. Okay. Is there a second?
Yeah. I'm
I'll
going
second.
with my theory.
Okay. I don't believe there's a debate, so we would go straight to a vote, whether we're going to uphold the ruling of the chair. Ms. Foster, can we have a vote? A yes vote would be to uphold the ruling of the chair. A no vote would be to sustain or overrule, I suppose.
Member Higgins,
Yes.
Member Donnelly,
No.
President Bellamy,
President Bellamy doesn't know how to unmute her camera.
President Bellamy, I think you're muted.
Sorry. Yes.
Thank you. Member Holloman,
No.
Member Lessons. Yes. Member Wilson. Yes. And Member Jacobs.
Yes. Okay. By a vote of 5-2, the ruling is upheld. So, Mr.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I could probably guess the political leanings of every single person who voted just now on that school board. Just saying.
McDonald, if you have any other items to testify on, you're welcome to do so.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, I keep getting cut off when I just read these books that are just, there's still purchase orders out for these books. Like they're not old things that were just put on the shelves to rot. Like they're things that you're actively procuring, putting in class. The first book that I read, I'm going to bring some of the FOIA documents that I have next time I'm in here. But there's teachers that are actually using it on their reading list in their classroom as part of their class material. So I don't want to hear that we're not giving this to kids. I was at the police department today and I was talking to them about this. And what it comes down to is there's a gray area where they say that, because you got to understand that distribution of indecent and pornographic materials to minors is a Class C felony. I hope that people understand that.
I mean, they are distributing pornographic material essentially to minors. Maybe not necessarily this book that he's quoting from, but there are countless examples of books that show illustrations of sex acts available to children in these school systems. If that's not providing pornographic material to a minor, I don't know what is. Why do schools get an exception? If you found out the creepy guy down the street was showing a book like that to your kid, you would lose it. But it's okay for these schools to have books like this in their libraries? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
So if there's the argument that, well, it's loosely covered by the First Amendment, and that's what you're doing, that's what you're hiding behind to get this to students in school, then how can you say I don't have First Amendment rights to just read this to adults at a school board meeting? Is it or is it not a First Amendment issue? I don't understand how it's appropriate for kids and it's not appropriate for the school board. I didn't even say a bad word. It feels a lot like you don't want parents to be seeing what's given to the kids. You're happy to give this to children. I've seen you. I mean, you even host reading times on the weekends. What books? What's your reading list when you host reading time on the weekends with Felix? You're happy to give these books to kids. It seems like you're terrified to give them to parents. And I think it's an absolute travesty that you cut off my time and don't even let me have my 3 minutes. I think you're breaking your own rules. Thank you.
Guys, this is happening all across the country. This is not a singular event that took place up in Alaska that's not happening everywhere. Parents are being pushed out from knowing what their children are being taught. There are states trying to pass legislation where they want to allow children to hide from their parents the fact that they're essentially experiencing a gender crisis, and they want to move forward with changing their gender. Let me say that again. They want to withhold that from parents, the facts that children are questioning their gender. This is one of the biggest, most pressing issues of our time, and I encourage all of you, whether you're a parent or not, to get involved in your local school boards like this gentleman did right here and speak up. This isn't about political ideology. This isn't about right or left or anything like that. This is about showing children Children. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and she could go to the library and get a book that talks about sexting and shows how to give a proper hand job, how to give a proper BJ. I have seen books like that available to kids in school libraries. Why do we want to teach our kids about this stuff? Why do schools think it's okay for them to do it instead of the parents? These are topics and subjects that should take place between parents and children, not between the educators that my tax dollars and your tax dollars pay to teach them reading, math, science, skills that you can go out and use in the world to actually be productive and make a difference. But instead, they would rather talk to them about this perverted stuff. Like I said, it's not politics, nothing to do with politics, even though unfortunately it sort of falls on one side where they're trying to push this. Actually, no, I take it back. It doesn't sort of fall on one side. It absolutely falls on one side. And it shouldn't. Just like speaking up about a vaccine that didn't stop the spread of a disease shouldn't have been political, but it became political. This shouldn't be political either, guys. This is disgusting, and every single one of you needs to speak up about it. I know I am. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that, man. This is just insane. These schools think that parents have no right to have a say in what they're teaching their children. Like, follow, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I love you guys. Keep your minds free.